Hello out there and welcome to the Revere Veterans and Community Show. Today we have a real veteran of the community. Her name is Megan Fidler-Carey. She is with the Revere High School and she's Director of Partnership and After School Programs. Megan, thank you for coming up. It's an honor for me to have you.
It's really an honor to be here. Thank you.
Tell us about yourself, and I know before you start, you have a student that's doing the work in the control room.
I do. I'm excited to talk about what I do for school, but part of it is you know, managing all of the out-of-school time. And actually, the person filming today is Gina Ciambelli, who most of you probably already know is a very accomplished Revere High School student. She's doing some really wonderful things, including an internship here at Revere TV.
She's a senior, too.
She's a senior at Revere. She also works with me in the Revere Public Schools after-school programs. So she's an instructor. She's a teacher in the system as well.
Teaching what, if I may ask?
The after-school program for elementary school students. So at the time after school dismissal, we've got programs for elementary school students whose parents work or whose parents understand that they need a little extra help with homework. So we have instructors, we have lots of college students, but some high school students as well who work in our after-school programs, and Gina's one of them.
Good, and let me tell you, it's an honor to have her in the control room.
It is. I was so excited when I learned that she would be filming this.
Miss Gina, thank you.
Thanks, Gina.
Okay, now tell us how you first got started in this.
Well,
at the high school, how you first got into the high school and then how you got started into program.
Okay, it's a terrific story. I'm currently in a graduate program, a doctoral program at UMass Boston. I'm going for my education doctorate in partnerships in education. That's what I'm studying. And so when this position became available, one of my classmates in UMass Boston, who works in Revere Public Schools, passed the job description on to me and said, "Is this something you'd be interested in?"
What's her name?
Christina Porter. She's the director of humanities at the high school, or actually for the whole district. So I was jumping for joy because I was very interested in, you and I have that in common, that we both value community and know that it's the members of the community that are the real asset to a city. And it's not just, you know, your little department or your little school, but it's everything and all working together. We were having a conversation before we started that you said it's veterans and community, and me as a community member
definitely
help make it the TV show. And it's the same thing. That's exactly how I think of my position at the schools. I work for the schools, but it's really the members of the community that have a value that I want to bring back to the schools.
Right. When I say the veterans and the community, I mean the people of Revere, because they are the ones that make up the community.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a veteran to be part of the community, but you have to be a Revere resident to be part of the community. And it's an honor to have you. So tell us more.
So that's how I found out about this position, and I learned, I went into interview, I learned that it was, you know, the after-school programs and the out-of-school time, and it was very exciting for me. So I was thrilled that I was selected for the job. But this is my third school year, and I'm having a ball.
I can imagine. Tell us the very first thing you did under the program partnership.
Oof.
If you can remember.
Well,
if you can remember.
We've actually, the funny thing is there have been a lot of changes since I started. So since I first started, even my job looked very different than it looks now. We've had some great things happening with the after-school programs. We now have a district-run program in all 6 elementary schools. So now it's Revere Public Schools after-school program at all 6 elementary schools and 2 of the middle schools. We serve over 260 students, Revere Public School students, whose families are working or whose families maybe don't speak English as a first language. So they realize if I have my child in an after-school program, they're going to get the extra homework help they need, the extra social support they need, and I think we're having a really good time. It's turning out to be really successful.
I got to ask you a question, if I may, Ms.
Please.
I had the superintendent of the schools up here, and he told me they have 36 languages there that speak.
It's unbelievable.
How do you teach those kids? I mean, not every of them speaks English. How do you get the 36 teachers to understand, to teach them?
That's a great question. And, you know, I'm really proud of our district is very progressive about making sure all of the teachers are trained, not only on how to teach students who speak other languages, but how to embrace so many different cultures.
Right.
Right? They have to, it's called MultiCultural Competency. I've learned that in my graduate programs at UMass, those academic terms. But it's an important thing that teachers are reminded that, you know, people come from all different backgrounds, and the littlest thing might be completely different in the student's culture. You know, as like looking someone in the eye. In one culture, it's a sign of respect. In another culture, it's a sign of disrespect. So as a teacher, you have to keep all that in mind when
Right.
when you've got these students in front of you.
You know, I think Revere is one of the first cities that I know of that made it official holidays for both Christians, Hebrews, and Muslims.
And
And
that's-
and that's not done in a lot of towns.
It's true. It's
So,
true.
how did that get started, if you know?
Well, you know, I think it's a matter of the leadership in the city and in the school system being very thoughtful and considering who their community is. They're, you know, they look around, they hear the voices of the parents who are saying, you know, I'm not feeling represented, or they hear the voices of the community, and so they said, well, we can't let this happen. I know that in the mayor's office, they've started the Office of New Revere Residents, and we, from the school's perspective, we're working closely with them. In fact, another thing that I'm excited to talk to you about today is we've started the Revere Community School, which is recognizing that the Revere High School building is a public building. From 3 to 9, the school gets dismissed at 3, but we should use that building in an effective way for the Revere residents. So we keep the building open until 9 o'clock on Monday through Thursday. And we have currently we have 3 sections of an English language class for Revere residents in surrounding areas.
I might be the first one to go there.
I would invite you to come, Morris, but we have a waiting list of over 100 people.
Wow.
We have 70 people enrolled in those classes and a waiting list of over 100 people. So that's why I'm actually really excited to be able to talk to you all about it today, because we're actually looking for funds. We're asking for some fundraising dollars.
That's good.
So
And
that
tell
we
us
can
how
hire some more teachers.
Right, and how could people help you with the funds? How could they donate if they wish to, or parents?
We're working right now on a website. In fact, this week I'm meeting with the webmaster at the public schools to put a website. It'll be on the Revere Public Schools website. Look for Revere Community School, and we'll have a Donate Now button. And also you could drop off a check at the high school for the English language class.
Right, and give them the address if you know where they can mail it to.
Sure, they can mail it to Revere Community School, and that's at 101 School Street, Revere, Mass. 02151.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
And
fantastic.
we decided to start slow with the community school. We're doing English language classes first, but we're starting to gather a board of advisors together of all members of the community. So there's a representative from City Hall, representative from the Chamber of Commerce, from the banks, from some of the other organizations, MGH, of course, Women Encouraging Empowerment. I know that you had those guys on your show one day. So we're trying to get the voices of the community to let us know what the community needs, but we have to be able to pay for it, of course.
That's why we got the show called the Revere Veterans and Community.
That's
It's made
it.
up of the people of Revere to help you out.
That's great.
I want you to tell me a little about Ms. Shambles. She's a senior at the Revere High School.
Yep.
I hope I got that right out there, folks. It's Miss Shambles.
Miss, right, yes.
M-I-S-S. Yeah, tell us about her, because she's fantastic in the control room.
She's
And
great.
She's one of your students, I believe.
Well, she's one of the students that I've had the privilege of knowing and working with. She's winning awards. She also connects with one of our school's biggest partners, which is MGH. As you know, MGH is a big partner to the
Definitely.
city,
And
big
to the
partner to
senior
the
center,
schools,
too.
to the senior center too.
Right.
And they support some of our after-school clubs that encourage students to be a leader among their peers, to have a healthy lifestyle, to make positive choices about, you know, where it's hard. That's hard to do as a teenager these days. So these are teenagers making positive choices about living a healthy lifestyle. And Gina took advantage in. I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to misrepresent it, but I know that there was an Above the Influence campaign. I would encourage you to maybe interview Gina one of these days on your show.
If she would love to come on, I'd love to have her.
Sorry, Gina, if you don't want to.
No, and I'd love to have every high school student come on here.
It would be great.
Because we had the ROTC kids come on here. They were fantastic.
Oh, great.
We had, not too long ago, from the Paul Revere School that did the Veteran Honors last year. We had them come on here. We
That's
had
great.
the teacher, Miss Terry Inserto, and the principal, Barbara Kelly,
Great.
who did a fantastic job.
Oh.
And I want to thank you both out there, Miss Inserto and Miss Kelly. You honor us veterans, and I happen to be one. I want to thank you. And I will talk to you in a few minutes. I have something here that I would like to thank you again. But go ahead.
That's right, because not too long ago was Veterans Day.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say the school did some neat things. You know, our JROTC represented Revere in the Saugus Parade.
They did?
They did. And as you know, well, I don't know, this year was the first year that Revere High School had they had a ceremony for Veterans Day. And then, as you know, the Paul Revere School every year does a beautiful ceremony, very elaborate. And you attended this year. Tell me about this.
Oh, yep. I want to get a good shot of this, if I may. If you can get a close in on this picture here before I talk about it.
Oh.
Hold it right there, beautiful.
What have you done?
This picture was given to me by a little girl from the Paul Revere School that they had an honorary thing on November the 8th when they honored the veterans. And there was a bunch of people that this was contributed. They did so many paintings there. I think the whole school did nothing but paint. That's why the hardware stores didn't have any when I went to the box. So. But they did a beautiful job, the kids there, and they gave us one of these. They gave this out to a lot of people. I was lucky to get one of them. But they also came along with the little kids, and I mean the little kids.
Yeah.
6, 7, 8 years old.
That school is grade K through 5th grade, so.
They gave me 2 purple hearts. I could have used about 10 after I left. And I'd like to read one that says here, whoever did this one here, if you could see it, right? Whoever gave me this card, it says flag, it made a little flag on the back, America the Beautiful. Thank you, whoever did this. And it says, thank you for your service. Happy Veterans Day, which passed. Love, a student from the Paul Revere School.
Oh, that's terrific.
And this is what they put on the inside of it, which is nice. Thank you. And they also gave us one more thing over here. I'm telling you, this is terrific.
They do a really nice job at that school.
It says here, happy veterans, did a little flag for us. And it says, I'll see you soon. And he did. He saw me soon. And thank you, whoever made this card. And especially to all the teachers in the school, and to thank Clark, by the way, who's a sergeant in the Marines.
Oh, yeah.
Does a beautiful job singing, thank the national anthem, fantastic. Daniel Clark, thank you. And again, Mrs. Inserto and Miss Kelly, thank you for the wonderful time all the veterans had there. That's all I can say about you. I hope we do it again every year. So this is.
I think they will. They've got it down. It's such a nice ceremony.
Right. Now tell me, what are you looking forward to do in the future?
Well, like I said,
what would you like to see in the future, Miss Kelly? I mean, Miss Megan.
I see my position as really being. I have the opportunity in my position to think about all of the out of school time, right? So the teachers and the principals and the administration, they're really thinking about kindergarten through 12th grade, what happens during the school day. I know that they're thinking about what happens outside of the school day, but they have to focus on those school time hours. So that's where I come in. I help put back in things that budget cuts may have taken out, or, you know, if we can't afford a neat health program or something that's out there, then I can bring in a health program. Other partners we have are like university partners. So we have opportunities for our high school students to take college classes. So we're trying to partner with universities. And then, of course, MGH. So we have those clubs that I told you about. They also provide all kinds of funds and support in the way of health classes. We have a school-based health center in the high school that's MGH sponsored. There's professional development that we could bring it for the teachers or for the administrators. Other partners that we have are activities in the after school for field trips and those sorts of things. So I think of any out of school time, I try and be thoughtful about.
Right, I was going to ask you, where you do this part-time programming, elderly people or elderly folks who are like in their late 20s, early 30s, do they have computer classes there?
They don't yet. We'd like to do that in this community school, have community classes for people out of high school.
And would you need donations of computers? I mean, so like some
that I don't think we do. You know why? Because that's where the school itself is being a partner. The school, because we're having our classes in the school building, we can use their computer lab.
Oh, I see.
Which is a generous offering of the schools. One thing I can tell you we're doing is our Revere High School students, have you heard that they all have iPads?
I heard that they have iPads, and I also heard that they're going to donate 6 iPads to, I don't mean donate, I mean to give them to the seniors so they can learn and take them back.
And what's more is that the high school students are going to the senior centers to help teach the seniors how to use them. Right. So we are doing a little bit of what you said.
That hasn't started yet, has it?
If it has, it just started.
Oh, it just started?
Yeah, it's new. So it may not have started yet, but that's what they're gearing up towards. So.
Is it easier to use an iPad than actually to use a computer?
It just takes practice. It's the kind of thing where once you get used to it, you can't remember ever struggling with it, but those first couple of times using it are a little bit frustrating, I'll be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
By the way, we talked about the Paul Revere School. We talked about the Revere High School. There's other schools, the Lincoln School, the Wayland School. Can you tell us something about them too?
Sure. All of the schools are really experimenting with different ways of getting their teachers trained, of using their time. You know that there's a new McKinley School being built.
Yep.
So that's very exciting. The principal and all of the teachers and administration are being thoughtful about thinking about how best to get that, get that done, and programming that's geared towards knowing that there's going to be a bigger building in the future. Like I said, we've got our after-school programs, and we've been fortunate with the person who's in charge of the after-school program at each school is called the site coordinator.
Can you tell us some of the people who are in charge of those, if you would like to?
Well, each of our site coordinators, we have a good system going with the principals where they go in at 10 o'clock in the morning. So the school day doesn't end before 2:30 in any of the schools. So this person works for the school from 10 until dismissal. And that way they get to know the teachers, they get to know the students, they get to know the philosophy of the school, and then they can carry that over into the after-school time. So that seems to be working really well. That's something I'm pretty proud of.
I got to tell you, talking about learning at school,
yeah.
I heard this on the TV news about a week or two ago. There was a gentleman out west who was a janitor in the school. Maybe you heard it too?
I don't know.
And he went to night school to learn, to get a college degree. He not only got his bachelor, he also got his master's degree. He not only got his master's, but he got a PhD at night while he was still a janitor.
Oh my gosh.
When he got finished, he applied for the job at the school as a principal, and believe it or not, he got it. So he became from janitor to principal.
I mean, he knows every aspect of the school, right? Because he's there all day.
Right.
That's terrific.
I heard that on the TV. I thought it was fantastic to show that no matter how old you are, knowledge is always there for you.
That's true, and that's what we definitely want to do with our community school when we can get it up and running a little bit better. We're just getting started, but I encourage your listeners to keep your ears open because I think it's gonna grow. And
there's no age limit, right?
Nope, not at all. No. In fact, our English language learners right now range from age 23 to age 69. I think somebody saw there.
Is that the oldest one? 60?
I believe so. Yep, and there were a couple of other people who would come in, but they're on our wait list because our wait list has 100 people on it.
And how do you get on? Tell us how you get on the wait list.
So this is, again, we're getting that website up. So you can go to call the school and ask for the Revere Community School to get on the wait list. Or if you can wait probably another week or two, we'll have a website up and running on the school website.
I understand you just had a function recently. Could you tell us about that?
Sure. Yeah, I was going to say another advantage of my position is as I represent the school on a lot of community committees, right? So I'm on the Revere on the Move committee through MGH. MGH has all sorts of committees and task force. They're doing some great things. So I sit on the Revere on the Move committee. I sit on the Healthy Relationships task force with MGH in the Revere Cares Coalition. I also sit on one called Castles for Kids, and that's an alumni organization that does some fundraising and has one big signature fundraising event, and they raise money for tuitions for after school.
And how often do they have that, Miss?
They have meetings once a month, and it's mostly made up of Revere Public Schools alumni, but I'm sure community members could participate if they were interested. But, Revere Public Schools alumni, Castles, I don't want to mispronounce it. It's Caring Alumni Supporting Teaching, learning and enrichment.
And what do they have that? I mean, if let's say I, as a senior, not as a senior, as a community veteran, wanted to go there.
So the big signature fundraising event they do every year is called the Taste of Revere, which I really encourage everybody to go to.
There's another one coming up, I believe.
Well, the last one was November 18th
right.
at the Casa Lucia.
Yep.
And
Tommy Appricino.
Right.
Carol Ty.
They all sit on the committee, and they're big supporters.
And I left out two. Do you know who the other two were? There was four. I watched them on TV talking about it.
Oh, Darlene Janis is the president of Castles currently, and
Yep.
I'm not sure who else was in the.
Uh-oh. That's okay.
Who was on the?
There was the mayor, the past mayor Tommy Ambrosino,
right,
and the three beautiful ladies that were on there. So. Thank you for doing it.
Well, we have so many committed members on the committee. We meet monthly, so everybody's doing their part. But this Taste of Revere, again, it happens every year. Hopefully, it will continue to happen every year.
You got me watering now. Can you tell me what kind of food they have?
That's exactly. Yeah, I was getting to that. We 22 restaurants, mostly from Revere, but also from surrounding areas, are donating time and food to this event, and they pick one or two or three of their signature dishes, and they have enough for everybody to do a tasting. Now, you think, just a tasting, it's dinner. 22 restaurants, you get a tasting, and it's quite a deal. The tickets are $35, and those proceeds go to the donations, the tuitions, and they also have raffles and a silent auction, all sorts of fundraising opportunities. But it's a great time to just be with community members, get to know your neighbors a little bit. They're a lot of fun. I really encourage people to come. And like I said, all of the proceeds go to support tuition for Revere Public School students in their after-school and summer programs. So it's a great time. It's beyond it being a great fundraiser, it's a really fun evening.
I have to tell you, I know Mayor Tommy Ambrosino. I had him on the show.
Yep.
I know Carol Dye. I've had her on the show. And the other two ladies, forgive me, I hope to have you on the show eventually. But let me tell you, Carol Dye does so much for the city of Revere.
She really does.
I mean, she helped us make a monument for the Women's Memorial. Mm-hmm. I got to give her credit for that. Mm-hmm. She helped us with the flags down at Bourne Cemetery. I mean, she helped us with that. Anytime I need help and I turn to Carol, she's there for not only for me, for the community of Revere.
She's one of the people, she interviewed me for my position. She was on the hiring committee, so she was great because she could really, provide some insight into what.
Thank you, Carol. I think you made an excellent choice. It's a good thing it was her being interviewed and not me. I'd still be looking for a job. Only a little joke. By the way, we do have, we got a few minutes left. Why don't you take all the time you need and tell us what you would like to see in the future, what you would like to do, what you would like to see the school do?
Well, the goals that I have set for RPS After School and for Revere Community School are really about just kind of putting some systems in place and making it structured so that, it doesn't rely on the people. Right now, the people who work in the RPS After School program and the people who work in the Revere Community Schools are so excellent. And they both exist because of the fantastic people that I work with, who work with me and who work in these programs.
Right. Now, you talk about the people in the school work, and would it be possible to use educational? I'm talking about people who had a good education, who are sort of kind of semi-retired, to volunteer if they
Please.
Did?
Oh, that's a terrific idea. Yes. If anybody thinks that they've got some expertise that they think would be helpful to volunteer, either we're working with the ESL, the adult learners.
Would that be like mathematics, English, or?
There will eventually. Or if you think you can help tutor with young students.
Right.
We're working on that as well. Of course, with the new security rules, that's a little harder to do. Unfortunately, the world we live in makes it harder for good people who have good intentions to just come to help out. But I would certainly be willing to talk to anybody who had some expertise to offer.
So repeat that thing again, how they could contact you.
So contact me. You can find me on the Revere Public Schools website, or Revere Public Schools phone number is 781-286-8226. 8226, that's it, 781-286-8226. Or you can just call the school and ask for me, and they'll make sure to get you to me. Or, like I said, we're going to have a website up, too, on the public school website.
But they can even leave it on your answering machine like I got.
No, that's right.
Right?
That's
how
right. I have to
got you up
update my
there.
message, don't I? My message is outdated, I
Yeah,
think.
your answering machine hung up on me twice.
What?
It
Oh.
didn't want to hear me talk anymore.
Oh, no. Have to get that fixed.
Right. I did want to ask you, what college did you? You said
My undergraduate, I went to University of Colorado at Boulder. I went far away for school.
Okay.
But then I got my master's degree at UMass Boston.
Did you really?
Right down south from here. Yep.
I got to tell you, when I flew to California one time, we flew over Boulder, Colorado, and
Could you see the mountains?
Yep, and also the snow.
Yeah.
And I do mean snow. And you could see when looking out of the plane when them skiing down the slopes over there.
Wow.
Yep. So
That's
it was
cool.
good.
It was neat to go far away.
We really enjoyed it. So, Megan, I got to tell you one thing. It was an honor for me to have you come up here and spend 25, 30 minutes speaking about your school, about what you could use, what you need, and God bless you for what you do.
I'm happy to do it. Thanks. I had a lot of fun.
You do a wonderful job, and thank you.
Thank you.
And I would like to thank Miss Gina Shambelli, who's doing this. Can you hear me,
Thank
Gina?
you, Gina.
Thank you very much. And may God bless you and Gina. May God bless the people of Revere.
Thank you.
Especially our troops and the great country that we live in, the United States of America. And thank you all for listening. And I hope we get some more nice guests on like we had just now. Thank you, folks.